Hello and welcome. I am Ladi Akeredoluale. Tonight, gunmen kill 5, burn down houses in fresh attack on Kiri village in Kaura local government area of Kaduna State. Conference on African Development Ticket 7 ends in Japan with participants adopting action plan for inclusive growth in Africa. Lagos residents express concerns over security issues on the Lagos-IBADAN expressway and on other alternative routes ahead of the reconstruction and rehabilitation work on the road. And Florida, in state of emergency, braces for what could be the strongest hurricane to hit its coast since 1992, as President Trump describes it as an absolute monster.
On business news tonight, Nigeria loses up to 22 million barrels of oil to theft in the first half of 2019.
And in sports news tonight, Team Nigeria retains second position at the African Games medal board after another impressive performance on day 15 in
Bad news that gunmen were again on rampage today as they continued killings, kidnappings and arson in the northern part of the country. In one of the instances, residents of Kiri village in Kaduna State recorded a deadly attack by the bandits who killed at least 5 persons, injured several others and burnt down houses, all in Kaura local government area of the state. A statement from the State Police Command says the attackers stormed the village at about 5 p.m. and started shooting everyone in sight. The statement explains that the hoodlums escaped into a nearby hill which bounds Kaduna State with Riyam local government area of Plateau State upon sighting a team of policemen that were dispatched to the village. Meanwhile, in another part of town, gunmen suspected to be kidnappers abducted a member of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Mr. Suleiman Dabo, along Kaduna-Zaria Highway. The spokesman of the Kaduna State Police Command, DSP Sabo Yakubu, says the lawmaker who represents Zaria constituency is suspected to have been intercepted while driving in his car near Farakwai village along the highway at around 12:30 this afternoon. Mr. Sabo explained that the vehicle, a Toyota Camry, and an identity card belonging to the abducted lawmaker were recovered at the scene by a police patrol team that was dispatched to the area. A combined team of policemen, Police Mobile Force, Special Anti-Robbery Squad, and Anti-Kidnapping Unit of the command are currently combing the bushes for possible rescue of the victim and the arrest of the kidnappers. Meanwhile, the president is bothered about the killings across the country, but he is particularly concerned about the situation in TARABA State following the gruesome murder of Reverend Father David Tanko in Wukari area. The president's senior special assistant on media and publicity, Mr. Garba Shehu, said in a statement that President Muhammadu Buhari has specifically directed the governors of Taraba and Benue states, traditional rulers, especially the Tortiv and Aku Uka of Wukari, religious and community leaders in both states to meet urgently to bring an end to the persistent violent clashes between the Jokun and Tiv people. Expressing his displeasure on the incident, President Buhari says, quote, "The persistent deaths and destruction and the seeming desire by the warring sides to push each other to extinction is embarrassing, and this is against the essence of our ethnic and religious diversity in the country. Progress is impossible where violence and destruction are allowed to dominate our daily lives," end of quote. According to the president, the murder of the Catholic priest highlights the need to urgently address the embarrassing and persistent conflict. In the meantime, the minority leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable Ndudi Elumelu, has been speaking on the spate of attacks and murder of Nigerians, this time living abroad, especially those in South Africa. The lawmaker representing Aniocha Oshimile Federal Constituency asked Nigerians who are in distress abroad to come home with an assurance that lawmakers are working in collaboration with the federal government to put a stop to the menace. He was speaking in Asaba, Delta State.
The federal government has commission on diaspora, and we also have that in the House. And the House has already inaugurated, set up the committees. And I believe that as soon as we resume, one of the first things that they will look at is that issue, plus other killings that are ravaging us in the country. So I have no doubt that we'll have the capacity to handle some of these things. One word for Nigerians in diaspora is one, believe in Nigeria. come back home. Nigeria has all it takes to accommodate you. And once that is taking place, once that happens, then we won't have issues. But most importantly, is for us and the government of Nigeria to be up and doing in terms of creating the critical infrastructures that will ensure that they discourage people from leaving this country in search of whatever that they may be looking for. Once you have that in place, then also that will, to a larger extent, mitigate against people migrating out of the country.
In a related development, South Africa's Independent Police Investigative Directorate, IPID, has denied earlier reports that 4 policemen have been arrested and detained in connection with the killing of a Nigerian citizen, allegedly by the policemen on the 23rd of August. The spokesperson for IPID, Mr. Suntaga Saisa, insists that no arrests have been made so far in that case, contrary to earlier reports. He described the said report as a, quote, miscommunication owing to a mix-up with another case which occurred somewhere in the same province. 46-year-old Pius Abiaziem, a businessman from Imo State, was killed during the interrogation while the police was raiding his home, allegedly for illicit drugs in King Williamstown in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa. The Conference on African Development, Ticket 7 in Japan, has ended with participants adopting a declaration and plan of action that will provide Africa with real and inclusive growth. With the overarching theme advancing Africa's development through people, technology, and innovation, the conference agreed that the implementation of Ticket should be guided by Africa's development dynamics and priorities. After 6 plenaries, seminars, and symposia, and other high-level engagements, the Nigerian delegation to Ticket says the country's participation has been beneficial. And our correspondent, Ibrahim Adra, has that report.
We will soon start the plenary session 5.
It's the close of a conference launched 26 years ago. For 3 days, the 2019 edition called Ticket 7 saw over 20 African leaders engage the Japanese and other global leaders. The plenaries, seminars, symposiums, and bilateral talks revolve around issues of development, with the economy taking prominence.
Measures seeking to diversify the economy.
At the closing session, participants adopted the Yokohama Declaration and the Action Plan. The host, Japan, wishes to see productive and meaningful outcomes, while the Africans say their doors are open for business.
The Japan Bank for International Cooperation came to meet with the president, and they are interested in funding a lot of investments in Nigeria, as long as Japanese companies were interested in those investments. And they are in broad areas like oil and gas, automobile, healthcare, and so on. There's a lot coming Nigeria's way there. Then the president met with the Toyota Group. They also want to do a lot. Particularly, they want to build a diagnostics medical facility.
The African Development Bank was represented at Ticket 7.
This continent has 23 countries that are growing at about or above 5%, right? You have 21 countries growing about 3 to 5%. That is massive, massive population. You have a continental free trade area that makes the economic size of $3.3 trillion. Those are not markets that you can ignore.
Subnational entities, among them Nigerian governors, met on the sidelines, seeking ways to benefit from multilateral cooperation.
We are looking at how we can establish zones, areas where we have comparative advantages, and see how we can develop agriculture. And Benue State, as the food basket of the nation, is key into this, and I believe that there's so much that can be achieved.
As leaders and delegates begin to make their journeys back home, they will take with them the memories of the beautiful city of Yokohama, while working out strategies of how to translate words into actions that will take development to their people. From the city of Yokohama, Japan, Ibrahim Adra reporting for Channels Television News.
Back at home, Lagos residents are counting to Monday, September the 2nd, for the commencement of the road expansion work at the Berger end of the LAGOS-IBADAN Expressway. But there are major concerns about the alternatives available for motorists who would rather avoid the route owing to the congestion that may arise from traffic diversion. Our correspondent Chris Illems took a ride through the Ekpe to Ijebu-Ode route and now gives us a situation report.
If you intend to connect Lagos from Ijebu-Ode through Ekpe via the state road, this is what you meet. The 26-kilometer stretch of road provides some bumpy rides and a lot of dust to inhale. Ordinarily, this should not take up to 30 minutes to travel. But now, despite the palliatives already carried out, be prepared for at least an hour's journey. For those who prefer the newly constructed road, Mojoda leaves them with a bitter experience. This is Mojoda in Ekpe. For so many travelers, this is where their journey terminates because of the bad state of this road. It's actually a boundary town between Lagos and Ogun State. And once your vehicle gets stuck here, you would need the boys to come help you. To go round the bad portion, motorists drive deep into the community, meandering through a narrow path close to a gas pipeline.
We plead on our government to even provide, if ordinary this security or vigilante or anything, that they should be on this road. Because in the night we don't know what will happen. Car are passing, truck are passing, so we don't know.
Anytime that we are in rain season like this, in fact, we do enjoy this road. Especially like today now, I'm looking at the sky that I'm praying to God that rain should not fall.
It has taken the intervention of a team from the road contractor to make Mojoda this manageable.
The deplorable state of the road is very bad, and you can see how road users are suffering here. So since morning we'll be here trying to assist the users to push their vehicles out so that we can make some maintenance to ease their movement here.
To make journeying through the route worthwhile, the people seek intervention.
It's not a good experience anyway. I just wish the government will understand the plight of the users.
The Ekpe-Ijebu-Ode road is one of the options motorists could ply for the duration of the reconstruction of the 1.2-kilometer Berger end of the Lagos-IBADAN expressway. But in this condition, how desirable will the journey be? Perhaps other designated routes may provide answers. Chris Illems, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, we'll be having more insights on the planned partial closure of the Berger-Kara axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and the creation of alternative routes. We'll be joined by the Lagos Sector Commander of the FRSC, Hyginus Omeche. Please stay on with us.